prepared to do. What does it look like? Do I want to stay in Bermuda? Do I want to live in my vacation home in Florida?
Sure.
Do I want to retire and still work part-time? Do I want to retire and do nothing?
Right, exactly.
But
Yes,
volunteer.
I do.
See? And it changes so differently,
Yeah.
you know. What can I do to prepare myself so that my health might be in good condition once I get to retirement, so
Right.
that I may not be a burden to my loved ones or others.
Yes.
But starting with those questions, ask yourself those questions.
Yeah. You know, another thing that's really very important is health care. Because as the minister noted, an aging population, it would suggest that various people would be a little more susceptible in their waning years to health challenges and afflictions. The government has future care. The government has HIP insurance. There have been increased benefits recently enacted. Seniors should be aware of that, particularly those that are on those plans. What would you remind them to do to ensure that they take full advantage of their health care plan?
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up, because we do know as we age, our bodies just wear, right? I say they wear and tear if we're not taking care of them, right?
I'm a great example.
But I've witnessed it as well. I've seen it. I've seen, what aging does to our bodies. And so you will definitely find yourself probably visiting the doctors more than you would like to, right?
Yeah.
And so healthcare then becomes very important to our seniors. But it is important that you are looking at your healthcare package. Thank you for raising what is available to seniors, which is a government package by way of future care, but also HIP is also available to seniors as well, and also your private healthcare options as well. HIP and future care being the most affordable healthcare plan for our seniors, which is heavily subsidized additionally to from government, in addition to what it is that the monthly contributions that people make, that those programs and plans are heavily subsidized. But I think for seniors, in having to make an evaluation in regards to what it is that they are, or how they are spending their money towards insurance, a sort of question that I get is a senior who may be on a private insurance plan or GHI, and, they're a healthy senior, and they may not need all of the huge major medical benefits that come with a private insurance plan or a GHI.
Right.
And so they're paying loads of more money, right? Some seniors tell me they're paying up to $1,600 a month or $2,000 a month.
If, for instance, they have preconditions that have, unfortunately challenged them from a younger age. Now, that's a different kettle of worms, so they would want to have the best benefits.
Correct.
But if they are in relatively good health and not had any major issues, that's something that they should talk to their
they absolutely
insurance professional
can. I have also seen seniors keep their private insurance plan and also utilize
additional.
Wow. I've seen them do that because they want some of the benefit, particularly the personal home care benefit that is under HIP and future care.
Just in case something should happen.
Sure, we have now removed that 12-month waiting period to have access to personal home care benefit under HIP and Future Care. So it's now made it more accessible to our seniors. But seniors should definitely be looking at what those plans entail, what they include, and think about their utilization and whether or not they want to switch to a lower cost insurance plan that puts money back into their pockets as well. Yeah.
Well, this might be a question more suited for the health minister, but I know there was talk about there being coverage under Future Care and maybe HIP for at least one annual physical?
Yes, so that is now in place as of January 1st. That was awesome. In place where seniors can go and get annual physical at no copay. As well as we've increased the prescription benefit from $3,000 to $5,000. That's for Future Care. And they've also, again, removed that 12-month wait for access to personal home caregiving services.
That is excellent. Everybody expects somebody to wave a magic wand, and today they want something, tomorrow they want it delivered. It doesn't work like that. The government has been addressing the challenges of the island in steps and stages.
Yes.
As a matter of prioritizing what it is that has been promised by way of the manifesto. And there has been so many incredible deliverables. Not to say that there's not room for much more improvement, but it's a fluid situation in any society where the challenges of the people need to be met by way of services provided by those that they have decided worthy of being in charge of the direction the country would go in serving the needs of their people.
Absolutely.
Now, this Envision Your Retirement, it's a comprehensive booklet.
Yes.
When you look at it, it makes you want to read. The color, coordination, are these stock photographs or are these photographs of Bermudians?
They're stock.
Okay.
We're actually having a conversation about this now because I'm like, I want some Bermudians on there.
Well, it looks like some of them are Bermudians.
You have to,
exactly.
Be careful of that.
You got to be, because you got to get releases and all of that kind of thing. And not everybody wants to be, used in certain ways. So it's not an easy thing to get, real people in any community to actually offer themselves for these kind of photographs. And when you become a senior and you're looking in the mirror and you're not thinking you're the most photogenic, if you're a person like me, that's for sure. You look out of one eye first and then say,
for sure.
But listen, what I wanted to say for the seniors, just having a tertiary look at this, it's a very easy read.
Yes.
You're talking about 2 and 3 paragraphs to understand just a principle or a benefit. It's not complicated at all. And in the back, I love that you have the check-off boxes for the things you will need to do before retiring.
Yes.
That's really awesome. So you've thought about everything. You're talking about the government insurance plans and all the options related to insurance. You're talking about if you're planning to relocate, how that will affect you and your needs as a senior. It is very comprehensively done and very well laid out. You're talking about senior housing and living residences, supporting living facilities and all the opportunities associated with that. And then there is the resources in support of everything that is available. Can you speak to some of the resources, either you or Cherie?
Sure. I just want to mention, Glenn, because people were saying, why didn't you do some cost comparisons? And it's kind of hard to do because everyone's costs are different, right?
Individual, yeah.
It's individual. And so, what my insurance package may look like would be different from someone else's. What someone's food cost a month would look different from what someone else's looks like. And so what we have put in here is the importance of budgeting.
Yes.
And the importance of financial advisors. Every time you get the chance to get free financial advice, because I think the banks do them, take advantage of those opportunities.
Sure.
But yes,
is that some of the resources that
the resources
you're also going to provide free
and
of charge?
the other thing I do want to mention is that we are looking to provide some more educational sessions in the community where we actually pull out what resources are out there so people can come and learn more about budgeting into retirement, financial advice, advisement, what that looks like, even investment opportunities, particularly as we were going through the National Seniors Strategy. Seniors did say that they wish that they had more information about investments.
Because some seniors have done quite well for themselves and set aside a nurse egg, or a nest egg, I should say.
Yes.
And but they are not necessarily financially literate when it comes to investing the funds that they may have, put away.
Yes, because seniors are really some seniors are really good at saving money.
Oh yeah, very,
and they'll put it away
frugal.
and they'll keep it in the bank in their bank account, and it's not making anything. So we want our seniors to be persons who are working to be smarter and do not just have your money sitting somewhere. You have to make it work a little bit harder.
Yeah.
So
and
that
you could do it in a very conservative way, such as a mutual fund, just as an example.
Absolutely.
Where it's going to roll over with all things being equal, and there not being any catastrophic financial fluctuation to the degree that it has a negative impact on the investment. But otherwise than that, those mutual funds are collective of many different really good performing corporations.
Good performing, yeah.
So, Cherie, on the resources side, did you want to expand a little bit more on some of the resources?
Can do. Listed in the booklet, you'll see the government department resources that we have. So things such as the Land Title Registry Office, Office of the Tax Commissioner, Aging and Disability Services, TCD. I know one of the things that we did discuss, because of course there are more resources, possibly being able to link those resources on a social media platform where they can have more detail.
Oh, that's great.
Of course, everything cannot be put into one book.
Exactly.
So the committee as well as the ministry do have other lists of resources that hopefully we'll be sharing with the community as we start, as the minister said, to educate and have those discussions about the envisioning. So it's not the end of it coming out, but
not the do-all end all.
Correct. The beginning of that.
Yeah, and you mentioned two things that are really great benefits for seniors, and that is the land tax situation for seniors, where you, if you're a primary homeowner, you get the land tax, and then TCD licensing. Is it at a discount or is it free when you get a certain age?
For seniors?
For seniors, there's a discount, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe free. Nothing is free in life anyway. So you mentioned about budgeting, and you emphasize it very strongly in the booklet. Let's reiterate why budgeting so important. Would it be as a result of Bermuda's high cost of living, where you need to really be watching how you're spending your money? And as the minister mentioned, there are people that do have those nest eggs, so they've been very frugal. They, by habit, have been able to save, and it has been a commitment over their lifespan. But others don't necessarily think about that, because most of us, we rather serve our wants before our needs.
Yeah.
Do you want to speak to the importance of that? Just a bit?
You certainly can still provide for your wants. It is, you do it under a budgeted system, right? You know, that trip that you want to take, you save up for it.
And nothing gets in the way of putting something aside for it, right?
And that is the whole purpose of budgeting, is that you saving up for those things that you need and the things that you may want. there are many people who do not even look at their bank accounts. They'll get money, their income put in, and then they are not looking to see or following patterns of how it is that they're spending their money. If people did that on a regular basis, they'll see how much money that they can save. I mean, I try little tricks like if I'm going out to eat and someone blesses me and they say they're going to pay for it, then I take that money that I was going to spend and I'll put it aside, right? Because that is money that I thought I was going to spend. That's a little trick that you could use to put some extra funds aside.
Just the little things.
It's just little sort of things, because people will say, "Oh, I'm making ends meet. I don't have access to save." But also when you find yourself in a new employment situation, you change jobs and say your salary is a little bit more, you take some of that money right before you allocate it to other things and put that money aside.
Yeah, very, very important. And the other thing is that, in, I believe, 2020, it may have been, the government, in its infinite wisdom, decided because of the hardships and the challenges posed by the COVID-19 challenges, to relax the pensions. And people were able to get a percentage of their pensions in a lump sum. Now, some of those folks may have not used it for anything in particular and put it in their bank account, but still, without having financial literacy, don't know they could have made the money work for them. By consulting a financial planner. What would you say to those people that still might have a little bit of those beans left in the bank account that's not doing anything?
I would definitely say don't have it sitting in a bank account if it is not making money for you. I would say that number one, you want to move it somewhere where it's going to make a little bit more money for you. I know that different banking institutions have portfolios where you can shift your money to make more money, right? Like HSBC, how they have the everyday savings account, or they'll have the quarterly savings plan, and it's not just sitting in one account where it's making nothing, right?
Or just minimal interest.
I just don't want to, call out HSBC, but there are other packages that other banking institutions have, Bank of Butterfield as well as Bermuda Commercial Bank as well, that they have. Where
and capital G is another one.
And capital G, sorry. Is it?
Or CG?
CG. No.
What is it? What is it?
Clarion.
Yeah.
Clarion.
See, again, that senior moon.
It floated around the room.
It floated around. Exactly, Clarion.
But it is very important, that people are talking about how they're using their money, right? And I think particularly in our community, we're ashamed to talk about these sorts of things, right? Or share that information with each other. The sorts of tips that get people further ahead, right? So,
and it also serves as a good example in a household where there's grandparents of grandchildren and parents of children. If they, by example, show how they are able to sacrifice to accumulate enough to invest. It's a really great example. And there could also be a collective effort where everyone in the household puts 5% or 10% and does something collectively with the funds to invest,
idea.
Right?
That is a good idea. That's how you're able to build more.
And create good habits for the younger generation, as I said, who wants the wants before serving the needs. Now, how does the guide fit into government's broader seniors strategy, Sharice? Or should I ask that to the minister?
I'll let the minister also speak on it,
okay.
But it definitely addresses, of course, any current or emerging aging concerns or issues that we might be facing.
Okay.
As the minister said, it's now 1 in 4. That's only going to increase
as
time goes.
Yeah.
So starting to have things in place for the future, it's a great way to start, and of course fits in the remit of our government in terms of what they want to do. It speaks, I'm sure, to our national senior strategy, which is whole host of 4 pillars of ways in which we are looking to extend the, I should say, what is it? Holistic and healthy aging and wellness of our seniors in the community as well.
Very important.
It's all going to tie hand in hand at the end of the day.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And the message you would give to our younger Bermudians about retirement planning, because every day we're a day older, and all those young people who feel invincible and that they're going to be around forever, and I won't start saving today, I'll start next year, or I'll wait 2 years later and make it my New Year's resolution, and they keep procrastinating and they keep kicking the can down the road, and before you know it, it's not even on the priority list anymore. But and it's probably because it doesn't sound very sexy when you're young. You know, I want what I want and I'm going to buy it because I can pay for it. I'm gainfully employed. I'll worry about, 5 years down the road, 2 years down the road. What would you say to those folks in encouraging them to develop these good financial planning habits early, so when they do reach retirement age, they have a nest egg or something they can rely upon that will sustain them?
Well, first, I think we should get away from the mindset that we say, tomorrow is not promised, right?
Yeah.
So we do say that, and so people will then, take all their money and spend it, right? Because you can't take it with you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
However, we know that there is a fact out there that people are living much longer.
Yeah.
They're living much longer.
That's
and that
one of
is
the
a
reasons
fact.
why the talk is about, raising that retirement age to what, 70 or something like that?
Yeah.
That is a fact.
And not only because we got a very small pool, but also because there are people who are very lucid. They got the wits about them. They're still very productive, and they want to work.
Absolutely.
Some of them may not even have to work, but they want to work. So it makes sense.
Absolutely.
Where you don't, as a company, have the right to mandatorily say you're 65, check you later.
Correct.
With a golden handshake that is nothing but the press of the flesh for most people that get to that retirement age.
But yeah, we want to exercise the mind and the brain,
Yeah.
and you do that through occupation, through activities, right?
Exactly.
But for a younger person, you definitely have the youth on your side. The earlier you can start with thinking and preparing for aging, take full advantage of that. Because that's going to be the key in your preparation for planning for retirement, is utilizing the youth that you have when you are first starting out with preparing and making financial decisions that will make your life a little bit more secure and comfortable as you age.
This is a very, very poignant and relevant question for those who would have caregivers or families of future retirees. How does the guide work in helping them make decisions about their retirement?
I would definitely speak to the portion where we speak about housing and living arrangements.
Definitely.
And, we all have in our heads, I hope we've thought about it, what we would want as we age. Do we want to stay in our own homes? Do we want to rent? Do we want to stay for our children, our family? Do we want to live alone? There are some people who want to live alone and they appreciate solitude.
Yes.
Would you consider moving into a rest home or a nursing home? Would you consider moving into a senior residence like what Bermuda Housing Trust have?
Yes.
These are considerations that you have to make. You will have seniors who will choose to stay in their own homes, and some will become lonely and isolated because they didn't, no one else is living with them, and they didn't set up their place where they transitioned to make an apartment of some sort so that they're getting income for their living expenses. And we don't want our seniors waiting too late to make those decisions, because it's much harder to do as you age. Those sorts of preempted or pre-planning things matter.
Yes.
As you age.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I'm going to ask you to put your headphones on. It's not going to really mess your hair up because you guys have got your hair pulled back today. We have a caller. Good afternoon, caller. You're on Magic 102.7 FM.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Blakely, and to the minister and her guests there. Very interesting, and I'm glad to see that the minister has put this in the booklet. And I'm focusing on page 24. Things you.
So how did you get? How did you get? Who do you know? How did you get the book?
Thank you for putting your hands on it.
Well,
Impressed.
These are everybody now. You know I like the facts, right? So I ain't gonna come on and read something, unless it's needed. But yeah, I've got it right here in front of me, and so I'm following it quite interesting. And on page 24, things you would need to do before retirement. And one area you was mentioning at the top there, you would mention about your pension. You know, your pension that you have to keep an eye on.
Yes.
And there's been a lot of issues in that area where people would get to the age of retirement and find out the companies in which that they have worked for has not put their money into their account. And around retirement, they see that it's not there. Mm-hmm. And that department really needs to update or get a little bit more professional in informing people. Yes, you can go around there and ask, but you shouldn't need that to go and ask. You should be at least receiving a update coming from that department showing that your pension is being paid. So you have some hard copy to work with, other than just checking yourself. Due to the fact that people in Bermuda do change from job to job and have other second jobs, but these monies are still being deducted from the pay. And I'm just saying that that's a very important part in retirement because this has happened and it needs to be looked at from the government point of view, who is responsible for that department to make sure that this is being taken care of the proper way. Another thing you was mentioning about the banking and the investment and things of that nature. Another issue that's been happening amongst the community, seniors and young married couples alike, is when you get married and you have made that matrimonial choice. Of course, your spouse and you is to death do part and battle west and all that good stuff. So what I'm saying is this, in the sense that suddenly a partner may pass. And of course, you don't have a joint bank account. And that's an issue where the banks end up keeping that money from that matrimonial couple. I think that is wrong in the sense that getting up to retirement age, I'm seeing people in the papers with 30, 40, 50, 60 years together. But it's important to make sure that they have someone as their on their account, if they don't have it, somebody trustworthy or the grandchildren or whoever it is to receive what they may have left in their account to go to that person at a certain age or whatever the case may be. And because these are issues that's been happening amongst the community where couples, young couples up to old couples have been passing suddenly, and of course the joint account is not there, and of course the bank ends up with that money.
But by under law though, it would be incumbent upon the family, particularly the next of kin, to inquire. That's right. Either on their own or through a legal assistance.
Well, yes. Right now, what I'm saying is that shouldn't be, because the bank could argue their point of view, whatever they do, but they do ended up with that money, and they may throw you something towards the funeral, whatever the case may be there. But if it's a larger sum of money,
I don't know. I think if you source an expert or a legal advisor or somebody, I don't think the bank would get away with that with most people.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm sure someone that's out there listening to me will probably give you some more experience of.
I understand what you're saying. I
That's all
know
I'm saying.
that happens. You know, immediately
Right.
after
No disrespect to the
someone may transition, and it takes a while for people to have access to accounts,
funds.
and it is a long process before they actually do have access to those accounts. And I can understand how that can happen to many people because they might not have the resource or access to someone to help them to get access to those funds. And then you are correct. The bank could potentially by default hold on to those funds.
Yeah. I never thought about that. But
And that's what I'm saying, that's important to seniors and even younger people who's getting married or has been married to take that into consideration, that if you do both work and you do have building accounts, investing money, like you're saying, this and that, it's always good to have someone on your account as a beneficiary, no matter who you may think it is, or it's up to that person to allow that fund to be automatically, I would say, transferred to that person other than going through all this extra dragging through the banks and I got more money than going in the sense of defending their purpose and why they want to keep it.
All right.
So
thank you very much.
Really enjoying the show. And you're plain on, Minister, and I appreciate hearing you. And thanks for this booklet because I think it's very helpful to people of senior age as well as younger. So thank you.
Thank you.
And to his point, as you mentioned earlier, Minister, nothing beats having a will. Because that kind of covers everything with regard to assets and benefits. Let's take one more call before we conclude. Good afternoon. You are on the air. Please turn your radio down.
Yes, good afternoon. I was just listening to your last caller when you were talking about the bank.
Yes.
And I actually just done that 2 weeks ago. I put somebody on the account.
Oh, okay.
But you got to go through all this paperwork, and I would think a senior that's not been out in the workforce or, don't understand a lot of the terminology. They would need to go to a bank manager or somebody to do it.
And maybe take someone with them.
Well, I don't mind by myself, and I understood it, but I am a senior bot. Hi, Tanae.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. So, it's a good program you got on today in reference to these singers, but they really do need to go to the bank. And I just thought about it lately, and I said, man, I'm up there in age. Something could happen, and who can get my money? The bank will keep your money for a while until they see something coming in the papers that you owe this bill or that bill.
Because they will pay themselves first.
Yeah.
Right, they'll pay themselves first. So you have to think of all that. But I got to go to another bank, too. I forgot about them and do the same thing. But you got to do, what's that, government compliance?
Yeah.
That's what it is, the form. I had like 5 sheets of papers I had to go through.
Okay.
To do that,
Okay.
But you got to be careful who you put on it.
Absolutely.
Sure. And when you do, just tell them that if something happens to you, you want them to use that money to help you, to benefit you yourself. The person who's put you on their account. So that's one thing you have to make sure that they understand it.
You have to make sure you have someone that you can trust as well.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I'm telling you, people's children have taken everything that's got and put them under the house.
Yep.
I know a few people that had to because they didn't put them on a life, what you call it?
Life support?
No.
Life insurance?
No, power of attorney. Life interest.
Life interest.
Right, life interest.
Okay.
And because they didn't put it on there, a family member was able to take it and tell them they had to go somewhere else.
I've heard of situations like that, yeah.
Yeah. And I know some people that have done that. But you have to be careful in this day and age. And another question I want to ask, I was getting out of the car, so I didn't hear it, because I was sitting out here listening for a while, and I just got back in it. And I'm not driving.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And I'm on oh, God, I'm getting a senior moment. It was in reference to, Brief. I can't remember. If I remember, I'm gonna call you back. But it was important. It was something to do with your house. Oh no, the future care and what's the other one called?
HIP.
HIP. You were saying that benefits have increased to 5,000. That's for people that got a lot of medication and stuff.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I have to let somebody know that one because I know they're not listening. And I wasn't sure if that's exactly what I heard, right?
Yeah.
Because I know they take a lot of medication, and when it was at 3,
They were running out.
They were running out, and they had to find money from somewhere to pay for the medication. But I didn't know the other insurance company done the same thing as well. So that's good to know. I'm going to tell somebody now I'm on my way back to Somerset.
All right, good. Well, thank you very much.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care.
How's my auntie today?
Thank you. I'll tell her you said hello.
Yes,
She's good.
please.
Okay.
Okay, I haven't been down there for a bit, but I'll get down there again.
All right.
Okay. Hey, bye.
Bye-bye.
And finally, Minister, what is your personal vision for retirement in Bermuda?
I think for me, we want our people to be knowledgeable, to make wise decisions, to be thinking about retirement. I know Minister Jason Hayward just put out a guiding document that speaks to retaining persons over the age of 65 into the workforce. However, persons still have choice, right? So persons will choose how they want to what life looks like for them after retirement, right? But we want our people to be economically sound, and you don't necessarily have to be making a whole lot of money to be economically sound, but you should definitely prepare as best as you can, and you should plan as best as you can.
Great. And how can someone view this wonderful planning guide to retirement?
So they have been actually flying off our shelves at the ministry. So they can find them at the ministry headquarters, which is on the 6th floor of Farida's Place, 65 Court Street, as well as Aging and Disability Services, which is in the Continental Building on Church Street. They also can find it online at gov.bm, or if they want to Google Bermuda Government Planning Retirement Guide 2026, they can find it there as well.
Okay, wonderful. Our very special in-studio guest this afternoon, Cherie Lewis of the Aging Well Committee, doing a fantastic job, even there at the facility in Spice Road, Warwick. Is it still there? Spicelands?
Still there?
Yeah, beautiful.
I'm going to
facility.
leave some here for you as well.
Okay,
for,
awesome.
Your guests.
And we could give away. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Minister. And of course, our minister this afternoon, the Minister of Youth, Social Development, and Seniors, the Honorable Tanae Ferbert, who continues to do an incredible job with being the steward and the CEO of her portfolio, looking out for our youth and for our seniors particularly. And I just glory in your spirit and wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
And continued success.
All right.
Again, folks, I'm going to leave a few of these copies, particularly for Nikita and Beverly Howell in the morning, to give away if you cannot get to the ministry headquarters to pick up your own personal copy. And we'll be back with our next guest after these words on Magic 102.7 FM. 102.7 FM at 16 minutes. There's Stanley James.
I never heard nobody say my name like that before.
Well, listen, you're here for a couple of reasons. We're going to expand upon some of your experiences, what's going on there at Premier Health and Wellness Center. You still got the garden going too, right?
Man, we still have 4 gardens going.
You don't have any night farmers. You have dogs there? You got Rottweilers?
We have day farmers, night farmers, midnight. And I don't know why the farmer, because we give it away free.
I know.
If you're a patient.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe they're not a patient.
Right.
Yeah,
So you're stealing.
Well, they'll know where to find you. Just come by the garden if they even need your help for any reason at all, should they be afflicted with any medical challenge.
Yeah.
But on Friday, there was the wonderful opportunity for the general public and members of the Bermuda Industrial Union to come by and see the pictorial chronological history of the BIU, which was exhibited. And you were the key sponsor of that.
Yes.
Tell us what motivated you to commit to sponsoring such an austere event.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to come and share with our community with that very interesting thing. For many years, I'd come into the Bermuda Industrial Union building. Whether you're a union member or not, there's something about the building, and when we started the Liberty, that we all feel like it belongs to us.
Yes.
That the union is not really just a movement for union members.
Right.
It's a movement built on some principles of justice. And justice is, once justice is delivered in any culture, everybody benefits from it. That's the principle upon which it's built.
Yeah.
So growing up in Bermuda, I always felt a certain insecurity
and affinity
for the union's work.
Yeah.
Because my uncle Bobby, he used to work on the down there on the docks.
Okay.
So he'd come home and he stayed with us, and he'd always talking about the union, and he was always talking about fair wage and getting his salary. And I didn't know what he was talking about, but I could tell that it was something that had a lot of emotion, a lot of intensity.
Right.
And I was anxious whenever they talked about those subjects, because it sounded like our community was under siege of a principle of injustice.
Yes.
And they would talk silently or quietly. And I remember the word Ati. Ati's going to do this. And it had so much anxiety around this.
Yeah.
And we knew that you shouldn't speak out on certain things because they can pull your mortgage.
Oh, yeah.
This was always the notion, the emotional context. And I sensed that the union was the voice for people who were voiceless and they had the courage to stand for those who lived under the shadows of fear. And I still feel that anxiety even today, living in a world where you smile on the outside, but you're still anxious on the inside. And so that is the landscape that shapes my background and my growing up. So the union has an emotional attachment because it was a system that advocated. I didn't know anything about what they were talking about or the details, but I felt that there was someone on the front line facing something that was uncomfortable for me. With that being said, once this new building was built, coming into the Liberty Theater was always an exciting thing. It felt like it was our theater. I wasn't a union member. My mother and my family weren't necessarily union. I don't know anything about those details, but there was something about this that felt safe. It felt like it was home. The pictures were there, and I didn't know any of the individuals, but I could see on their face that they were very serious, and they were facing something that was threatening. That I could see in their faces the feelings that I felt in my own stomach growing up. But they were facing it, facing what I didn't see, but I could feel, and I could sense a phantom, a ghost, something that haunted us in this beautiful island. It is indeed an island of devils and saints. I would imagine that we were the saints. And I couldn't
most of us.
I see Julian Hall there, so I better. He's a good friend of mine. Devil and saint. So good man. So that was always the context in which I grew up, unconscious, uncomfortable of this latent fear and sense of lack of safety and advocacy, protection, defense. And that can cause you to do one of three things. One, you can become angry because you can feel that something is wrong, but you don't feel protected. And that anger can turn into self-destruction. It can turn into turning on yourselves, infighting, picking at each other, undermining progress, subterfuge, breaking off into small fractions. Anger can do some strange and terrible things. Or you can live in fear and bury your head and avoid things. And this is the case for many of our parents and our grandparents. They didn't talk about the struggles because they didn't want their boys and girls to become angry, because they knew that anger can destroy you or put you in line for someone much more powerful who will seek to destroy you because you threatened an establishment. These are not things that I'm imagining. These are things that we lived. And I could hear the conversations, and I can see policemen in certain areas, in certain neighborhoods. I just knew that wasn't safe for me to be. I knew that I couldn't buy a house in certain places. It was just, you know that. And when you walk in those places, you're always very conscious about how you're walking and who sees you walking, and you're getting out before a certain time, lest it be considered that you're doing something dangerous. You're always living with this. It becomes a normal
anxiety.
Anxiety is like a phantom friend that always is with you. When you go into the bank, you go in with this phantom friend that reminds you that you don't belong. And at any moment, someone can tap you on the shoulder. And of course, if you want to do business, you're always questioning, am I good enough? Am I okay? When you go to school, you see these great scholarships. You know you're not going to get one. This is just the mindset that you live in. This is the steady state of anxiety, sense of terror, trauma, threat. And that does something to a man. A book written by, called Jesus and the Disinherited by, his name escapes me right now, Howard Thurman. He talks about fear and how fear can destroy you or can propel you. So one, you can become angry. Number two, you can become tormented and bury your head and avoid and don't tell the story. Or number three, you can let that fear cause you to do things constructive, move you forward. Fear can be used a number of ways. And so I lived in that state of anxiety and uncertainty because I had great aspirations. I wanted to be a physician. But I always knew that that was something that I wanted, but I didn't know if other people believed I could do it. And that self-doubt kind of caused me to feel like, well, man, should I even step out there and even try this? You're not got the money, you're not that bright, and you're black. So the union is a counter to my internal fear. Here is an organization that here's your story, here's your struggle, here's your suffering, and it symbolized advocacy and resistance. Now, I don't agree with everything the union has done or how it has done everything, but that's not the point.
Right.
The issue is the spirit in which it set forth to address a pernicious evil that had the ability to touch my interior and disturb my ability to function constructively as a citizen of the country. There was no constructive counter. My parents could protect me by, of course, having us dress nice, make sure you dress good because people are watching you.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you speak properly because people will interpret your intelligence based upon your speech. It's my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go to certain places, my father would say, and you cannot be there because you're going to be branded and labeled, and you already have a lot against you.
Mm-hmm.
This is my grandfather's lectures. This is my father's lectures, and you know my father.
Oh, man, I know your father well, George Sr., and originally from Belize.
Yep.
And then later in life, I think he returned and retired there.
This is correct.
But he was in the prison service for years.
Correct.
Even around the time where Bermuda had the most challenging period of racial consciousness and the murders and the hanging and all of that. So we used to talk about all of the experiences that he had in the system. And he was yet a very humble person.
Yeah.
He was the president at one time of St. David's Cricket Club.
That's correct.
And he was the one responsible to bring the biggest reggae concert back in the day here, Third World.
That's correct.
Which was down at St. David's. I wasn't in the island when they were here.
That's correct.
I was abroad, but I heard all about it.
Yeah. I remember Carrot
he told me about everything that it took in convincing the committee at the time to take the risk. And, it was quite a successful event.
It was a successful event.
Yeah.
We were not allowed to go to the club. This was forbidden.
Okay.
He was the president, but there was restrictions for where we could go for our own socialization. But when they came, the Third World,
you were able to go to the concert.
He took us to the concert. we went to where they were staying, and I played with the artists, and they became very friendly.
Now you got siblings, your sister and George Jr., right?
Yes, I'm proud to say I'm the brother of George James Jr. That's my older brother.
Is he still in Bermuda? He's not Bermuda. He's still here?
He's still in Bermuda.
Okay,
He's still very much in Bermuda. He loves to play golf, quite a bit of golf.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a proud brother of my sister Gina. She lives in North Carolina, and she's there with her 2 children.
Oh, nice.
And my sister Lisa.
Okay, yes.
And my sister Angela.
I don't know Angela.
Angela is
she's the youngest.
She's studying to be a nurse. She's finishing her nursing program in Manchester, United Kingdom.
So I'm sure she's consulting you every now and again.
I'm consulting her.
There you go.
Nurses have a different training, and they have a special skill set. Nurses are very gifted.
Yeah.
Their intuition, their
especially with the bedside manner.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of lifting emotionally, connecting.
Is she going to coming back to Bermuda to work?
Well, the world is her oyster, and so she gets to choose, and she's very keen to come back to Bermuda, and we'd love to have at the Premier Health and Wellness Center.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
She wants to do her thing, and she's doing a very good job. I'm very proud of her there. So
very nice.
Yeah, so that was the father, and and so he would have these lectures for me Monday afternoons after school. He'd come home, and we'd all have to sit at his feet, and he'd have these long, good Lord, my daddy, man. Long, and you're falling asleep, but you don't want to fall asleep. My God. And he would start long prison, and it was very informative because, to be honest with you, I didn't realize that they were programming my progress.
Yes, yeah.
They were programming.
Now you can appreciate it and reflecting on it.
Oh, yeah, because it set up my internal structure. I still hear the lectures today. I go through them, and they're my cues of things where should I go.
And it would have contributed significantly to your strength of character, especially when you came up against impediments or progress in the way you would have expected, but it didn't go quite that way.
Absolutely. It's certainly the whole discussion I'm having about how to conduct yourself in an environment where you're under surveillance.
Yes.
Know your environment.
Yeah.
Know your environment.
And you're now back at it. Pursuing your PhD.
Yeah, back to this PhD.
Yeah.
I don't want to get to that, but so this decision to participate with the the union's enterprise
Yes.
came against the backdrop of living in this sense of terror and sense of insecurity. It's not always palpable, but it's a substratum. It's a foundation in which we all live this, right?
Yeah.
We don't talk about it.
Right.
I'm not sure we have permission to talk about it, because we fear that if you talk about it, it then puts a black mark on your name.
What some might describe as a stigma.
A stigma on your name, right? So you're branded as being a troublemaker. And we'd often look at those who were outspoken, and we would say, well, that person was stupid. He should have kept quiet, made his money, paid his mortgage.
I hate that. Yeah.
And there's some wisdom in that,
Yeah.
because that is living in the context that was real.
And in your reality.
Yeah, so
at the time,
how do you do that and be mentally healthy?
And transcended, yeah.
So the union was a system that was publicly countering this other system that was a phantom that seemed to counter and destroy. For me, the church became also a system, an incubator of the interior. Because what happens living in this constant state of terror, it begins to destroy your interior. And that interior, your sense of confidence and identity, and it leads to aggression. So a lot of the anger that we're seeing spilling out in the street is the downstream consequence of living in a state of continuous fear. Lacking a sense of safety, lacking a sense of organization, and a sense of security and advocacy, somebody speaking for you, you begin to turn on yourself. So it's not unpredictable that in most societies in which people are living as marginalized, polarized, surveillanced, they have violence in their community. Second issue, you have hypersexuality. People tend to have a lot of sex and aggression when fear is driving them. I'm not making this up. This is, of course, like I said, Jesus and Disinherited, as mentioned by the great teacher that we have there who came from San Francisco, the theologian. But it's also mentioned in psychology and also physiology.
Okay.
We put animals in a cage and stimulate them with fear. Eventually, they become aggressive, hypersexual, and guess what else they do? They eat a lot. So the three issues that primarily address our concerns in our country: aggression that we see spilling out on the streets. And the question is, why are these guys killing themselves? Where's all this anger coming from?
Right, yeah.
Or we see hypersexuality, unregulated or unmanaged or unhealthy sexual behaviors, which is associated with violence, promiscuity, lack of commitment, decisions that probably you look back and say, probably shouldn't have went there. Chronic, certain diseases that are part with that. And also polyphagia, eating a lot. So we find that those animals that we stimulate with a lot of fear and anxiety and aggression, they also have a neurovegetative state of eating a lot.
Okay.
And so we see obesity in our communities and chronic diseases in our community. And one of the things that's not identified is to what extent living in this context of fear that we've learned to protect and pretend and play around, how much does that contribute to some of the dysfunction that we're seeing in the society?
Now, is this applicable to all manner of humankind, or is it more prevalent in the people of African ethnicity?
That's a very good question. This is a biological phenomenon of any group of people living under constant surveillance, where they show up and they are targeted because they are what they look like.
So would that partly explain why there are over 1 billion people in China and India? Because India has the caste system, and China is the communist country with a lot of mandatory suppression.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily make that parallel.
Because you talked about the sexuality thing in the promiscuity.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I think that the fear that they're living under and the context that they're living under certainly will lead to certain pathology. It may even lead to internal issues of anxiety or depression or sublimation. But we do know those animals that I studied, that they did have aggression, they did have sex, and they did have eating with stimulation and fear and living in a state of chronic sense of fear, anxiety, and stress.
Gotcha.
And so that is the parallel I can make about this subset in our context.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the contributors, not the only contributor. It's multifactorial in my dimension.
Okay.
But I'm paralleling that to the union as a symbol of advocacy, a fist of hope, a flag that says, you have some rights that should be spoken, a voice for the voiceless. And of course, in Bermuda, when you're denied formal education, and that was hard to come by. You have a lot of insecurity about speaking. Language is a weapon, or it can be a tool.
Well, they say the word is mightier than the sword, right?
The pen is mightier than the sword.
The pen is mightier than the sword, yeah.
And so many times, if you can't speak that well, it creates even more frustration. So no formal education, you feel like something isn't right, and no public advocacy, you begin to turn on yourself, and you become almost childlike.
And so when the anxiety builds to that level, that's when you are acting out. It's a manifestation of that pent-up anger on the inside.
Yeah, a lot of that's what we see. And of course, the police and the law enforcement has to keep the society stable.
Yeah, and they're triggers at times as well.
Yeah, and so they become they kind of fighting against people who are disorderly. The disorderly person doesn't know why they're disorderly. They just feel like there's injustice.
Yeah.
And we're not having translation because we want a healthy society.
Yeah.
Our past is our past, but we must find constructive ways of telling the story and then continuing to rewrite a new story. The past doesn't have to control you, but it should inform you so you don't make those mistakes again. So I found that when I came into the building and I saw those pictures of people who stood when I couldn't stand, who spoke when I didn't have a voice, and who covered me when I couldn't cover myself.
Sacrificial lambs of labor in this country.
Their faces were on these walls. And I don't know them, but I did know Kenny Paul.
Yes.
He used to dance, and he used to tell me the stories about being the Belka boy.
Yeah. Great cricketer as well.
I didn't know that.
For St. George's.
Okay, we need him to come back. We need him, Poppy, we need everybody to come back. Charlie Marshall needs to pull up to do something. Yeah, Charlie Marshall. Tell him I said it, everybody. Tell him Dr. James to talk about him again. So, that's pretty much so. I saw these pictures, and when I first saw them, it was inspiring. I just looked and found out if there's anyone that I knew. I saw Delroy Duncan. I saw Dr. Barbara Bull, and I was going to be a physician. My father told me he took judo from Dr. Barbara Bull. He said she was a judo master.
She was throwing around a couple of policemen back during the Belka riots. I could tell you that.
Serious?
Oh, yeah. She was arrested, but she dacked a few policemen.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, this is a lot of emotional energy, and you can see this in the faces of these people. And so seeing people speak up and actually counter injustice and feeling good about it, but you have to feel good about it quietly.
Yes.
So to say you feel good about it, it almost looks like you're putting yourself on the front line and you're living in this chronic sense of I have to deny myself, erase myself, ignore myself.
At the risk of being seen to condone violence or dysfunction.
Or just standing for something that threatened an establishment.
Yeah, the status quo at the time.
And not just at the time.
Or even,
because the system
moving forward
shifts, but the spirit remains the same.
Yeah.
And so, so that was what I saw, but then I saw over the years the pictures were fading.
Yes.
I saw yellow pictures that were once black and white. I saw tattered tears in the corners of things that once stood bright. I saw faces that could not be made out anymore. Women and men that had the struggle seemed like it was falling apart. And that which I saw manifested in these pictures was also corresponding to what I saw in the society. The labor movement was fading away, and the spirit was almost unpalpable and invisible. When you come to Labor Day parades, there isn't a very large community that comes. When you speak about social issues and principles of justice, you almost feel like you're out of step with the times. You don't want to say anything before you become branded as being disloyal or someone that's disruptive.
Antisocial,
hate speech, it's being coded. And so now the victim is becoming the enemy, the oppressor. And the system which oppressed becomes protected silently by cancel culture or political correctness.
So the victims, in essence, become the victimized even more.
You become the victim of silence, the violence of silence. But fortunately, there were these pictures. And one day I came through here. I think I was coming to the Beverly show.
Okay, Beverly Howell.
Yeah, and the Lord said to me, and I said, Stanley, that's a graveyard. And the graves, they're looking disheveled. Those are people that spoke for you when you couldn't speak for yourself. You practice on King Street, the Premier Health and Wellness Center. You don't practice there. Those people are practicing there because they opened doors that made it possible for me to have advocacy and opportunity to walk on that street, plant a garden in the middle of the city, reverse chronic disease with lifestyle medicine, offer herbal medicine in a context where people think you're going to do it one way, to walk freely with your head up. And there's a certain dignity that stands on the shoulders of people who were shamed for standing up for what is right. The least I could do is give them a good burial. Make those graves look bright. So the Lord said, why don't you call Chris and see if you can restore this project? And of course, there's also a physician there, Dr. Barbara Ball. There's also another physician, Dr.
The founder.
The very founder himself. And of course, with
Dr. Gordon.
E.F. Gordon.
E.F. Gordon,
So I have a burden as a physician to continue the issue of speaking to the ailment of the society, and that is the healing of the interior. We must continue to be attentive to the interior. We live in a secular world. A secular world is a world that doesn't believe in God, doesn't believe in morals, doesn't believe in spiritual life. And because of that, you can't really speak about the interior life.
Sure. Because
if you do, you're out of step, or his talking religion.
And I could only imagine, Dr. Bowl being out of step as a white woman who was a medical doctor.
Her practice was affected.
Oh, in a major way.
Couldn't make the money. Because the white colleagues...
She was ostracized.
Would ostracize you. I mean, that's uncomfortable. And then there's Dr. Gordon, who says that he had to drop his black patients at the King Albert Hospital.
And change his name in the House of Assembly and force them to call him Mazumba because they would refuse to address him by his rightful name.
Now, and so, when you think about that, you can see if what I was feeling, the layers that have been felt by people who didn't have a degree, who didn't have money. And you understand why the code word is keep quiet, make your money, pay your mortgage, and it'll all go away. What happens sometimes, you have to find the right time to address issues and in the right constructive way. Again, I said there are three things you can be. You can be angry, you can be fearful and bury your head, or you can use your fear to pull you forward to do things the right way and do the right thing. And so I felt that taking and channeling that energy for constructive use, which is to restore these pictures, to reinvigorate our society, to say that to speak boldly about truth and justice for the underserved, for the disadvantaged, is God's right thing that God would have us to do.
Amen.
And so I felt that was a good way to do it. And so I called Chris. He said, yep. He put me with Crochet. She's such a wonderful lady. She had so much work she had already done. And she had already pulled so many pictures and was going to do one approach. And I said, well, I think there's another gentleman who I think can do an even better way of doing it. It's going to cost a lot more, but I'm going to bear the entire cost.
Okay, wow.
And, of course, we did that. And we had a gentleman, Mr. Toppin, who's from forget the name of the company, frame company over there in Mills Creek.
And he was the one that restored the photographs.
He restored the photographs.
Man, what a job he did.
Bringing them back from...
Unbelievable
From the grave.
Oh, man, I'm telling you. An incredible job, impeccable work.
Yeah, and so what that does for me and for those around us, we can feel pride and sense of dignity. Because ultimately, when you're living under terror and fear, when the interior life is destroyed, what it attacks is your dignity.
Yeah.
And when you look around and see our society in fragments, but not just Bermuda. Look in North America, every big city that I go to. It's echoes of shallow graves of people who have bleached bones. And you wonder, can these dry bones live?
And celebrating legacy through this way, it builds not only self-esteem, but the dignity of identity being celebrated as well by those that would have been the underserved and, the disparaged. Very, very important, because even though it might be symbolic, it's symbolic in real terms relative to real history of lives that help to impact what it is we benefit from today in the way they contributed during the most difficult times when they wasn't able to thrive and were only fighting to survive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some powerful stuff. And to have it chronicled in the way it is just so uplifting, not just for the generations that would be able to relate to it because they know some of the persons due to their familial relationship, etc., but also for those that would be now coming behind, not having any sense of the history, and hearing the stories can now relate to the photographs of the real action that was taken by real people who were standing up for something
that was
they
real,
felt was important because it was real, based on their personal and collective experiences.
And I like that because right now this is common statement, keeping it real. And that is a copycat statement because just showing anger is not keeping it real.
Right.
Tattooing yourself up, muscling up, walking around like you're mad at people, talking about I'm keeping it real.
Yeah.
Using language and a slang that's not even local.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not keeping it real. You're profoundly inauthentic.
Yeah.
You haven't constructively processed your fear.
Yeah.
You haven't dealt with your internal rage. And a lot of what we're seeing on spilling out on our street is unmanaged rage, unmanaged fear that's showing up in murders, violence, reckless driving, substance abuse, premature death, incarceration, chronic disease, and identity issues.
That all relates to that internal anxiety.
All from this internal fear.
Yeah.
And so when we really want to think about health, we can't let health simply be diabetes and blood pressure. When the drivers are living in a state of chronic fear and no public advocacy, no voice that says, I see you over there, you didn't get a schooling, that's okay, but we see you. You don't have health care, but we see you.
And that kind of anxiety could serve as a catalyst for the real physical health challenges that manifest in the body and as well in the mind.
Well, when you lost the interior because of fear, you got all that going on, you eat anything. You don't value yourself. You begin to auto-amputate. You amputate parts of yourself off in front of a society and in front of foreign people that come and wonder, what is wrong with Bermuda? Why are they dying in paradise? Because what they see on the outside is flowers, but they don't see on the inside is fear. The downstream consequences is acting the clown, being an idiot, or just plain stupid, using people, lying. You're living in a context where you should learn not to advocate for yourself constructively, not to eat in a way that says, no, I'm going to counter that fear by eating right. I'm going to counter the destructive foods by having a decent relationship with a woman and loving that woman. I'm going to counter my anxiety, my insecurities by getting a book out and turning off social media and things that actually slow down your brain development, producing oxytocin or cortisol because you'd have brain problems, and actually start reading.
So explain oxytocin and cortisol for those of us that might not understand the term and the definition.
Good question. So the brain is not just a physical object like your hand. The brain has hormones as well as blood, nerves, and neurotransmitters. It is the most complex organism on the world. It's even more complex than AI. That's artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, it ain't nothing like the real. Come on now. And that brain that God has given us is capable of doing three things. One, it can think. We don't quite understand what cognition is. What is thinking? Where is it located? Is it in a cell? How does the brain actually organize ideas and express these ideas and think? And it's very, very, very delicate and sophisticated. Number two, the brain also propagates physical things, so you can feel and your eyes can move and your arms can move because there are wires that go from the brain down to the body. But the brain also has other ways of sensing things, and we don't quite know what that means. The subconscious. What is the subconscious? And the conscious mind. It's a very sophisticated organism. And sometimes on extreme stressful situations, adrenaline, cortisol, and other hormones actually are produced. Under short circumstances, flight or fright, when you're running from a dog, your brain will have to be on high alert so you can be hypervigilant. You can see the dog, you can see the truck coming on the other side.
And that's where the adrenaline really starts to pump.
Right, and that's good.
Yeah.
But if you stay on adrenaline for a long time, it affects an area called the midbrain, the amygdala.
Right.
And that makes you like an animal almost. You're hypersexual, very irritable. And if on a long, stressful situation, you begin to have failure to thrive. You just slow down, you begin to be very sick, and you just kind of give up. And so when people are not safe with a secure attachment, it's a big research by Dr. Bowlby in the attachment theory. When you're not attached to something, where you feel like your mama's breast, and she's got her arm around, the child needs that. The brain then produces neurohormones and immune modulators that go all over the body and begins to create a safe sense of secure attachment. Then you can start thinking about other things when you got that sorted out. But when the brain is on extreme stress and you got all these hormones that are pushed, it doesn't function very well. Number two, when you're looking at screens, there's a lot of discussion around dopamine.
Television and computer screens.
Yeah, television and computer
screens.
Especially
with smart TVs now, right?
Three things can happen. One, when your body sees somebody murder somebody on TV, it doesn't know it's not real. So when your heart races, you think, I had a good thrill. The body is saying, I'm under stress, under threat.
And it's also helping to desensitize you emotively and emotionally, right?
But that's the next part. Under chronic hypersensitivity, your brain begins to say, I don't know what's real, not real. I'm not going to react to everything.
And this would have even a more profound impact on the impressionable minds of the younger generation that cannot separate the entertainment value from the reality, and then find through the stimuli the satisfaction of carrying out what they saw in a similar scenario when it comes to conflict, and not knowing how to deal with conflict through peaceful resolution.
Separating TV from real life is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And if you're used to seeing it on TV, your kids
and social media as well, which has become even more of a profound influencer than just the television. Because social media, you're not just dealing with mainstream television channels, but you're dealing with all manner of video vignettes and capturing of reality scenarios in the street and where and whenever, whether it be war, whether it be violence, anything else for that matter, depending on what your interests might be. You can get sports from anywhere around the world. All of it is accessible on social media, all of the dysfunctions, all the reality, so-called reality scenarios that are acted out, where there are real-life people living through their scenarios and allowing it to be recorded and then projected on television in a way that is felt by those who control the content. It has relevant content value, relatable to people that could identify with it. And before you know it, the influence overwhelms people where they think it is the norm and don't see anything wrong with acting out in similar ways themselves in their own particular circumstances.
Well, I can tell you what the data shows. Data shows that, and one of the books that I've been reading is by Dr. Neil Nedley. It's talking about the lost art of thinking. Another book that he's wrote about depression.
Okay.
Data shows that repeated exposure to just the screens themselves does affect changing in brain architecture.
And that's the dopamine.
Well, but it's not just the dopamine, or not just simply the epinephrine or the adrenaline.
Okay.
It's actually what happens to the eyes, the retina, the nerves that regulate the eyes, the hyperstimulate, and with a lot of things we don't know. We have to be very humble with the fact that we know maybe 0.001% of how this all works. We're still very much like cavemen.
Gotcha.
And now we're exposing children.
In the context of this technology and the impact it's having on humankind.
Yeah. What does it mean for you to be in an unnatural world for a long time?
Gotcha.
And so if you see a kid that grows up in Bermuda 30 years ago, 40 years ago, he climbed trees and ate loquats. He climbed trees, had cherry, and he had his bike and he rode with his friends. Living in that environment that's a part of nature. Taking them out of that environment and putting them in an artificial environment, what impact does it have on the brain development? What impact does it have cognitive and emotional development? So brain development, can he think? Number two, emotional, Can he connect and bond in a healthy way, intimately with people? Mm-hmm. And then how does that regulate his own internal sense of safety and security and anxiety? So, we're having a tremendous amount of fallout. Now, take this with a population that for 400 years, for hundreds of years, was slaves. The laws that said you cannot read. And then there was segregation. Not only did you cannot read, but you cannot have a certain employment, you cannot vote. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, when it comes further up into, my mom says she wasn't able to go to school. She would love to have had an education. You're living in a context where education was out of your reach. Or coming to my era, where you're always living in a chronic sense of threat. You're having hundreds of years of a population that has been underdeveloped and has been systematically desensitized, dismembered.
There has to be generational trauma through that.
There's got to be generational.
And there's arguments now that that's a pack of nonsense.
But there's always going to be...
I don't get that at all.
Yeah, there's debates on it. And you don't need to have science to tell you it's right.
Oh, absolutely. You manifested behavior is going to tell you.
I heard somebody say, he who feels it knows it. Yeah. So science has its place, but science is a tool. I said the word of God is the rule, because the Bible says the man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And by beholding, you become changed into the very likeness of that which you behold. So you can find a different source of authority. If science has not caught up yet, stick with the word of God in nature. Yeah. Because it has a way of revealing things that science just has not discovered yet. Science has not reached the point where...
I don't think they will ever discover some of the things.
No, they won't, right? It's higher as my thoughts than your thoughts. And so when we look back at what has made us healthy, we have to go back to some fundamental basics. We were once a society that were forced into systems of religion. I think that was horrible. Mm-hmm. But we had our own understanding of faith and nature. That's pretty much as deep as you need to go. I trust God and I do what He says. You ain't got to get the button and the shirt and the hat. And I mean, you can do that. I'm all for it, but you don't need that. Yeah. You just need to restore simple faith. Yeah. He's on my side.
Yeah. And that's all symbolic anyway, because certain religions who would be collared down, would be carrying out some of the most heinous acts, wearing the cloth and the symbolic garb.
Well, you make a very valid point. That is that for 1,260 years, the Constantine Christianity actually killed people who didn't become Christians. Mm-hmm. That was all throughout Europe.
Call them the Crusaders.
Yeah, they killed you if you didn't become baptized. That's terrible.
Yeah.
One man was burnt to the stake. Mm-hmm. Another woman was drowned, the Anabaptists, John Huss, Zwingli. These people were killed because they had a different view. Yeah. That led Europe to saying, look, I'm done with that book. I'm done with that Bible. I'm done with all that religion. And that was a good idea. Mm-hmm. But they shouldn't be done with God. Mm. You can get rid of a system, but don't get rid of the source. Mm-hmm. So that entered us into a new age of the age of reason. Let's follow science. Yeah. And Bartholomew Square, they actually burnt the Bibles, burnt the Christians, the Huguenots were killed. They murdered people all through France. They said, we don't need God, and they've been abused. Yeah. But in the process, those same colonizers who were in charge of us, the British, the French, etc., they said, get rid of God. And you black people who believe in that, that's dumbness. And, of course, the institutions of education destroyed our faith. But that's the only thing that kept us. Their religion that was abusive was not our religion that was redemptive. Yeah. In the process...
But it was used to infiltrate.
It was used to infiltrate, and then science became a new religion. Mm. They said, go to science, forget the Bible, forget your religion. Mm. Now, what they should have forgotten...
The Darwin theorists and the like.
Yes. They should have forgotten the abusive religion that they had that came for 1,026 years. The Catholic Church did that. That's real history. Mm-hmm. And the Christians forced us into being good boys and girls, though you should sit down the back of the church and we're sitting up front. Well, I can't understand that. You're trying to get me saved. And I'm going to sit down the back.
Wait till after everybody else gets saved.
So the book Monk to Mzumbu kind of goes all into this, right? Black preachers and their public protests. Yeah. And, well, of course, the world said, listen, we're done with the book. But they took baby Jesus and threw him out with the bathwater of pagan ideas. Mm. The problem that is, we became sick. Because we listen to music now that talk bad about your mama.
Oh, man.
That talk bad about your sister. That have men doing things that are shameful. Yeah. That define relationships contrary to how Africans and the Bible showed us how relationships should be.
And it's not us who are producing the music that controls the content.
No, we are being colonized and enslaved another way.
Mentally.
Instead of physically It's philosophically.
What Bob said, free yourself from mental slavery.
Mental slavery. So now you're allowing that music to be playing in that brain that I just talked about, that most precious object. When you know what you take in stays in. So you're listening to things because you like the beat, but the lyrics you don't listen to. The lyrics actually program your unconscious mind. And eventually you, that strong brother who thought you would never do certain shameful, disgraceful, disgusting things according to the scripture, according to the Bible, some things are disgraceful, you find yourself compromised. Why? Because you've been living in a hypnotic environment that is telling you that the word of God is no longer relevant, nature's no relevant, and your grandparents were stupid.
Exacerbated by stimuli such as alcohol and drugs.
Anger, the anger that I talked about, loss of identity, looking to belong. And what's the long-term consequence of a disorganized interior? A disorganized citizen who can't perform at the workplace. He can't keep a job.
The productivity becomes impacted.
The young lady cannot handle herself in a relationship in a way that it creates balance.
And
the young man cannot be emotionally supportive and stick with her. Stick with one. So this is all a function of the environment that we're in, the information we're taking. But there's good news. Just like the union was there as a point of advocacy, it stood up and spoke out. And as we refurnished those pictures and saw a bright light, they said, this is what we were. We get the opportunity to actually write our story again. We can actually turn the story around. It's not over. And somebody said, only when it's dark enough do you see the light.
Hope is alive.
Hope is alive.
As long as people are.
But the word of God is still there. Nature's still there.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm working on with my part of my PhD.
That's awesome, man. So I'd like you to come back and pay us a visit sometime in the near future.
Absolutely.
To talk a little bit more about your PhD journey, where you are, where you plan to go, and what you believe this designation will enable and empower you to be more fit for purpose in whatever you feel your calling is in utilizing this knowledge.
The number one thing, spread that love. It's that simple. Love again. Let's just learn to love again.
Awesome.
And forgive your enemy. Do good to those who despitefully use you, and pray for those who say evil things. Let's spread that love.
Well, our very special in-studio guest this afternoon, the incomparable Dr. Stanley James.
Say that name again.
Dr. Stanley James.
I'm going to tape that. We're here for you, and we're not going anywhere.
Thank you very
so
much, sir.
Thank you.
Take care now, and we look forward to you returning sometime in the near future.
Absolutely.
102.7 WMJ FM Bermuda. Magic 102.7.
Time to get away.
At Trip Limited, you'll receive the best travel expertise in Bermuda. Their dedicated professionals pride themselves in providing first-class customer service. Because at Trip Limited, every client is treated uniquely special, and they understand that the best memories are those shared with the ones you love. So whenever you want to enjoy a priceless experience that you'll treasure as a lifelong memory, give Trip Limited a call at 292-8747 and let them help you organize the cruise of your dreams, shared with the ones you love. Fabulous cruises for wedding groups, family reunions, church groups, friends get-togethers, and other special occasions. Trip Limited will help you plan every detail before you sail. And payment plans are also available. So when it's time to choose the group cruise of your dreams, call Trip Limited, the cruise experts, at 292-8747 or visit Trip Limited at 72 Washington Mall in Hamilton. Celebrate Valentine's weekend at Island Brasserie with a romantic 5-course dinner on February 13th, 14th, and 15th from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. for $155 per person, plus service charge. Then on February 15th, gather with family and friends for a decadent brunch buffet from 12 noon until 4 p.m. Priced at $115 per adult and $55 per child plus service. All month long, renew your mind, body, and spirit with the Renewal Journey at Rosewood, Bermuda. Enjoy 4 soothing 60-minute massages and 1 60-minute facial over 5 weeks. A focused path to feeling refreshed, balanced, and radiant. This 5-treatment series is just $1,100 plus service charge, a savings of $235. Make February your month to reconnect and recharge. Call Rosewood Bermuda at 298-4000 to book your dinner, brunch, or spa series, or email bermuda.concierge@rosewoodhotels.com to make your next reservation.
Looking for a lighter way to refresh this February? Try Viva Zero Sugar and Zero Calorie Sparkling Water with juice and antioxidants. It's a sparkling water with juice enhanced with antioxidants for a clean, refreshing taste. It's a great choice when you want flavor without the heaviness, whether you're at work, at home, or spending time with family and friends. Distributed by John Barrett & Sons and available at Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Heading to college? Figuring out how to pay for it? The Mirrors program invites you to the Finding Funds for College webinar series 2026. Join us every Tuesday in February from 6 to 7:15 p.m. on Zoom as we discuss a different topic about finding funding options for college. February 3rd focuses on lending institutions and financing options with reps from Bermuda Pensions, Fraser Brookmeyer, Ocean Tree Financial, Clarion Bank, and Bermuda Credit Union. For more information, call the Mirrors office at 292-9291.
Music is a beautiful thing, and we are blessed that we can all sing.
Get your tickets early to support and celebrate the 15 contestants during the competitive performances to be crowned Bermuda Idol 2026. 7:30 p.m. Saturday, March 14th at the Ruth Seaton James Center for Performing Arts. This year's exciting Bermuda Idol competition promises to be an exhilarating experience, featuring original live wires, Yvonne B, Lisa Lattimore, Miss Utopia, Terrell Stewart, Kingle Adams, Tariq Tucker, Sloan Johnson, Azana Riley, Sheree Burrows, Marseille Williams, Marie Romaine, Trina Riley, Mr. Dread, and Angel O'Laughlin. The best homemade sign to support your favorite contestant will win $300. You could also win a Bermuda Air gift certificate, among other generous door prizes. Bermuda Idol 2026, kindly sponsored by Lindo's, Trip Limited, Mr. Chicken, Bermuda Healthcare Services, ATS LED Supplies, The Money Shop, Barrett's, Caesar's Pharmacy, Strikes Bowling Lounge, Orchid Nail Spa, Horseshoe Bay Live, and Medical House. The 2026 Bermuda Idol Competition, 7:30 p.m., March 14th, at Ruth Seton James. Tickets $70. Available online at ptix.bm, 27th Century Boutique, and Magic 102.7 FM.
Talent is a God-given thing, and we are blessed that we can all sing. So hit the lights and turn the cameras on. Turn up my mic, yeah.
I don't know about you, but I feel good. Inter-Island Communications presents Just Bootsy, a hilarious stand-up comedy special. That's Just Bootsy, 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 Bootsy. No profanity, no insults. February 21st, 2026 at Ruth Seton James Auditorium. I feel good. Doors open 7, showtime 8. That's Just Bootsy. Tickets available, 27th Century Boutique and gpass.bm for only $30. You heard me, $30. That's Just Bootsy. Come out and support Bootsy in his one-man comedy show. February 21st, 2026. Doors open 7, showtime 8. This show will be recorded. Dress to impress. I don't know about you, but I feel good. Bootsy, 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 Bootsy.
102.7 WMJ FM. Feel the pulse of Bermuda.
A magic, you know. Yeah, man, a magic. Magic 102.7 FM representing.
Certainly representing. It's Just Bootsy. Good afternoon, my brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Blakeney.
I love that commercial, man.
Yeah, it's a good commercial. I wonder who produced it.
I wonder who produced it.
Mr. Blakeney got the producing skills, bro. Guy overseas said, "Hey, man, who did that, Glenn?"
Yeah, it's true.
Did you? Wow. It's incredible.
Yeah, man, 21st.
Yeah, the 21st. Saturday coming.
Big.
Tickets are selling, so I would encourage you to...
people have been coming here, and we told them we got the Bermuda Idol tickets here, but we don't have the Just Bootsy Comedy Show tickets.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 27th Century, good afternoon to you guys down there. 27th Century.
Hey,
so
big
Carla called me today, said, Bootsy, tickets are selling. So, folks, go in.
Big shout out to Carla and Sharon.
That's right.
Yeah.
You'll get your tickets. Also, you can get them online at www.gpass.bm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, man, what should everybody expect from you? You have not been on the stage doing your own thing for quite a while. When was the last time you did a show?
Well, no,
I mean, you're out there doing shows as a guest performer, but your own show.
Yeah, well, I did one in April.
This own show is our show because I've encouraged you to do it now that you're back on radio.
I appreciate, and I say it on a regular basis, Glenn. I appreciate you taking, the time to support this and going on the limb to support this show and back in this, Inter-Island Communications, back in this production because it's not easy, as you know. And it's costly and
a lot of hard work.
Yeah, a lot of hard work. And you stepped up to the plate and said, "Bootsy, I'm gonna do this," and I said, "Sirs, all right, let's do it." Yeah. So what to expect?
Big shout out to Ruth Seton James,
of course,
for the performing arts, and Kenny Mabry is doing. Kenny Mabry, she's just an incredible fresh breath of life at Ruth Seaton. If you're going to be dealing with her, you're going to be dealing with a consummate professional in booking the facility, and it's so many advantages with that multiplex facility at Ruth Seaton, from classrooms to the cafeteria to the Performing Arts Center, the Ruth Seaton James Center for the Performing Arts.
It's so nice that they utilize
and then
it.
the outside. During the summer months, I've used it. I've done a jazz supper there. I've done other events outside. They got a beautiful stage in the courtyard. It's totally secure, and it's just great working with the team of professionals at the facility.
It's so good to see it being utilized the way that it was actually built for. Because Cedar Bridge, of course, it went from Rob Coffin, but when it went to Devonshire Academy, it was built. It was actually built for the performing arts. So that was the idea of Devonshire Academy. Cedar Bridge came after, but it's so nice to see that facility is being utilized for the reason why it was built.
Absolutely. So what are we going to be expecting from you?
Well, Glenn,
because you haven't even given me any teasers. You haven't given me a trailer. It's going to be a complete surprise for even me. I mean,
my dude. You got my dude.
You got new material.
And what I've done was really creative, because I have modernized some of the older material, because I have to, as we were speaking one day, I have to make it international. So a lot of the colloquialisms, a lot of the terminologies that we would use here.
In Bermuda. You've kind of transitioned them to something more universal.
So that people could understand it. And then the material that I'm using, some folks would have seen some of this material, but it's, like I said, it's more modernized. It's and I talk about those things that are universal. Okay. So the things like marriage. I talk about
substance abuse.
Intoxication.
Oh, man.
I talk about church. I talk about children. I talk, those jobs. So those things that are just
what
universal.
About the cost of living?
I'm sorry?
Cost of living.
That's there.
Because that's something that's universal. Everybody around the world is talking about the exponential increase in goods and services.
And people keep saying, Bermuda's so expensive. Trust me, other places that you think are not as expensive, they are expensive.
They are, very.
They are.
Yeah. Just across the pond in North America, you don't make the kind of savings you once did. It's like Bermuda prices is almost matching those prices.
I tell people all the time, like when I have my visitors, and I say, they say, what is it about Bermuda that you enjoy so much? I say, you don't have to worry about snipers.
That's very true.
Thank the
Lord for that.
We don't have to worry about people blowing things up.
Mass.
I mean, it's a lot of things. We don't have to worry about people eating other people. Like, these are the things that we don't have to kind of worry about. We don't have to worry about kidnapping. Nobody kidnaps in Bermuda.
Too small. Everybody. What do you mean? I know you.
Mike. That's Jason's boy. You try to kidnap and say, "Hey, go pa." You know what I mean? I'm not your go pa, boy. So those are the things I tell them. This is certain things that we just don't have to worry about in Bermuda. And plus, it's the weather.
We're a pretty blessed country compared to what's going on in other places in the world. I mean, some crazy stuff going on.
I mean, and it's nice to travel, but it's always nice to come back home. For me.
You really get excited about getting ready to depart.
I know.
And boy,
that plane's getting on the runway again. Why?
And then when you're ready to come home, you're even twice as happy.
I said, back.
Thank God.
And your plane's coming in. I often, this is the picture I get when I'm coming in. And this is the reality check, right? When the plane is taxiing up the runway, you see how slow the cars are going.
Yeah, that's
there you go. I'm back.
That's really amazing.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel that slow when you're actually on the ground.
Right.
But when you're actually looking at it from about 3,000
look like they're crawling.
feet, it looks like they're like somebody could walk beside them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's my.
It's very true.
That's from my mind.
When you're flying back during daylight hours.
Yeah.
Well, even at night, you can see the headlights.
Exactly. And they don't look like they're moving.
No.
What's going on down there?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. So that's what people can expect, man. I'm excited about it. You know, last night I'm so excited about it is that I have this thing now that I do, Glenn. When I sleep, I turn everything off. What I used to do is, TV would put me to sleep, right?
Yeah.
And I'm silly. I never put the time on.
Well, I'm like that because I'm usually working all hours of the night. It's scripting something, working on something to be produced or whatever, or reading a book, because I love to read.
Right. So I could read, but the TV will be on.
Yeah.
I'll be reading something and go, oh, really?
Yeah. Now, where was I?
What? He wants what to be named after him? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, I would mute the sound when I'm reading.
No, I don't mute. I don't mute. Yeah. Okay. I can't do. I have to. I got to be able to. Anyway. So Glenn. So now what I do is I make sure everything is off, so my mind could get some rest.
Yes.
Right. So last night I jumped up. It was like 1:00 in the morning, man. It just came to me, and I jumped up and I started writing.
Oh wow!
So I'm gonna add this bit into the show.
Okay.
Yeah, and this bit is with Reggie, with my puppet.
Yeah. So
it's not called a puppet.
Right.
It's called a figure.
That's what it's called.
It's a figure.
I wonder what you call it. I know the skill of speaking without moving your lips is a ventriloquist.
Right. So it's ventriloquism.
Right. Very, very difficult.
Right. Yeah.
Especially saying certain words.
Exactly.
You kind of you make the majority of the word sound like the word, but the beginning of the word you might miss something, right?
Well,
like maybe like R's and stuff like that. Very difficult to say.
Well, what happens is when you're talking, it's interesting how the mind works, because when you're talking about a topic, people know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And they can relate to it.
Yeah.
And it goes right over their head because they know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and they're not really listening to the execution of the word, per se. But some people are so very good, it sounds like they're pronouncing the word absolutely correctly, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's an amazing skill. What motivated you to do that?
Well, when I broke into comedy, and a lot of people think... a lot of people suggest that, I was the first comedian. I was not the first comedian. When I broke into comedy, there was a comedy club here on the island.
Oh, really?
And it was called Yuck Yucks. It was a Canadian company.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was a Canadian company. And
I know the icon Gene Steed was quite a comedian.
Right. Yeah. Well, he told jokes.
Okay.
Right. So he told jokes.
Right.
But this was a comedy club.
Okay.
Right? Okay. And Peter Petty, who gave me my first paid job, Peter Petty was the manager. He ran the club.
Where was the club located at the time?
On the 3rd floor.
Of the Emporium building?
In the Emporium building.
Gotcha. I vaguely remember.
Right, right. So Yuck Yucks moved out, went back to Canada.
Okay.
And then Peter Petty took it over.
Okay.
And it was called the Bermuda Comedy Club.
Right, I remember that.
Right.
And he kept it alive.
Right. So that's when the cruise ships were in Hamilton.
Yes.
And then they used to get very similar how Choi Ming had at Clay House when the folks would go down. They used to get off the ship and come over.
Okay.
So he hired me, and I was the MC.
So how did he know about you?
Somebody brought him to a show at Clay House. Okay. And he was like, wow.
And that was your first comedy show that he saw?
That was the first time he saw me, yeah. Actually.
Was that your first comedy show?
No, Rotimi Martin.
Yes.
and Keith Mayberry were my management team. So they kind of hooked it up. He came and he saw me. He's
So
like,
how did they
I only
discover?
had one joke. Rotimi was my acting director.
Ah.
Right? My acting coach.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
So I only had one joke. One. And it wasn't even mine.
So
right?
You only did one joke on that
Let me
night?
tell you what happened. So I go in and I delivered this joke, and he liked it so much, meaning Peter.
Yeah,
Petty.
yeah.
And he said, listen, why don't you come by and see what I do at the comedy club. There's a show on tonight. You got the cruise ship passengers or whatever. I was like, okay. So I went and I got there and he says, hey, you want to MC? And I said, well, what do you mean? He says, you have all the tools. You'll be all right.
Wow.
Threw me on stage.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's how it happened?
That's how it happened.
And you still did the one joke?
I did the one joke, and then here's what happened. That same week, it was a comedian, a ventriloquist, on the cruise ship.
Ah.
And I was fascinated. I was
So
taken
he brought
back
his
by it.
dummy over?
Yeah, he brought his figure over, and I was like, wow, this is deep. I was mesmerized by it. So what I did
It wasn't the first time you had seen a ventriloquist work, though.
in person.
It was.
In person. It's the first time I seen it in person.
Okay.
And I was just like, okay, because I used to always think that it was a recording.
Yeah.
You know, you see it on TV.
Yeah. He can't really talk with his mouth not moving.
Right. And I saw this, man. I was just like, wow. And this guy was very good. Okay. And I was like, wow. So we got talking. He was in for 3 days, and we talked, and then he gave me some pamphlets or whatever. And it's a.
So you approached him?
Yeah, well, I had to introduce him.
Right.
I was
and
the MC.
You said, listen.
So we talked.
About, okay.
Yeah, and I said, I'm interested. And he was like, hey, look, this is what I could do. While he was here, he showed me some basic stuff.
Okay.
Right? So he said, work on this. And then I connected this it's called Vent Haven. It's in Kentucky. And they have a convention that goes on. And all the top ventriloquists around the world go to this convention.
Really?
And it's a week's convention. So I went.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, wow. So my first little figure was about 12 inches tall, little guy.
Okay, all right.
And I purchased him, and I worked on him. And I bought all this videotapes and cassettes. Those cassettes were out then, right?
Yeah.
Cassette tapes. And they're teaching you how to do this art.
Okay.
But now, once you know it, now it's about practice.
Right.
And practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the things that we used to have at the video store? There weren't cassette tapes. There were what was it?
Betamax?
Yeah, Betamax tapes.
You mean video?
Yeah, videotapes.
Yeah, VHS.
VHSs. Yeah, so you would have got the VHSs.
I had a VHS.
Okay.
Yeah, and you watch, you learn, but you got to go through the paces.
Yeah.
This you can't cheat it.
Yeah. So you find you've improved over the course of the time. How long have you been doing it?
I started, but this is off and on, right? This is off and on.
Right.
I want to say like 10 years.
Okay.
Off and on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Not like you were doing it steady like your comedy routine.
Right. So
and you get a little rusty as well, don't you? If you're not doing it all the time.
That's what I'm saying. You got to stay with it. You can't cheat it.
Yeah.
You can't cheat it. If you think you're cheating, it shows up. You know.
Yeah.
So in the past year, I've worked on it and it's little things that once you get it. Now the second stage is building a relationship with the figure. So it's gotta look real.
Right.
It's gotta look like you're having a conversation.
Especially when he talks back.
Right. So it's gotta look like you're, and then you look crazy, really. One of my mates says to me, you still playing with puppets? No, dolls. He said, you still playing dolls? Like, that's a nice way to put it, buddy.
Now, you've had such an outstanding career.
Yes.
And I would consider you to be, as far as Bermuda is concerned, one of the iconic entertainers who sings, acts, does comedy, and does radio. I think you're the only one that's done all of them.
Yeah.
Nadanja sings, Nadanja does karaoke, Nadanja does comedy, Nadanja acts as well, I believe.
That's right.
But he hasn't done radio yet, I don't think.
No, he hasn't done
Right,
radio yet.
right.
So let me tell you, this is what this is very important because people say things and I really like to clear the air. So when I got into that first night at Bermuda Comedy Club, let me tell you who was working. Right?
Yeah. I saw a video with Nadanja and was that there? And Ja? Was that at the comedy club when I saw them? No, that was at Ruth Seaton, wasn't it?
Oh, that was in my show.
They were little kids.
Yeah, they were my stage help. And you know what? I could not figure out. I'm like, who is that person? Who are those children? But I was watching it, right? This is years later. I found this tape and I'm watching this thing.
You shared it to me. I didn't recognize it right away.
And then it was only at the end of the show when I was introducing everybody, these two guys.
They were knee high to a grasshopper.
Yeah,
Well, they must have been like 5 or 6 years old.
No, they were like 8, 9. Yeah.
So that's probably when the bug bit them too, just being around you and on the stage, right?
They were,
yeah.
So here's who was at the comedy club. They were like comedians starting out before me. A gentleman named Jan de Sover. He's passed now.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Paul Sofianis.
I remember Paul. Yeah.
He's passed. Yeah. Wendy was the money behind everything. She's passed. Unfortunately, they've all passed.
Oh wow!
And
Paul is passed as well.
Paul's passed. Yeah,
wow.
Paul passed.
I remember he did a bit of radio for a while.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And also Bruce Barrett.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Bruce was there.
Yeah, not the Mum Show guy.
Not the Mum Show guy.
His brother and a few others.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, but when I got into it, I took it on for real. I took it on for real. Yeah, so I would eat, sleep, and drink comedy. That was me. You know.
Wow.
Yeah, because my brother used to say I was lazy.
Really?
Yeah, because I was in the masonry field. He was the carpenter. And I was like,
You're talking about Gino.
Yeah, I was like, it's got to be an easier way, bro.
He's one of Bermuda's best roofing guys.
That's right. So I was working with him. We were putting on roofs, man. Just him and I. And I'll be up in the roof, hot. It's hot. Middle of the summer, I'm like, it's got to be a better way. It's got to be a better way. So when I told the family that I'm going into comedy, he was like, you're always looking for an easy way out.
Yeah, that sounds just like you do.
Come on, work. Yeah, I'll work, but this is it's got to be better than this.
Right. Now, some of the people that you've opened for are iconic.
Yes.
Some very controversial in these times.
Yes.
One of the biggest names was Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby.
Yeah. You opened for him at a convention here at the former Southampton Princess Hotel.
That's right. And which, ironically enough, people that were there would know this story. I couldn't even make this up. So, Mr. Melvin Bassett, God bless his soul, he calls me up and he says, hey, Bootsy, I've been watching you. You've been doing some fantastic things. And I was in the schools at that time, doing my stuff. He says, we have Bill Cosby coming. And I said, the Bill Cosby? He said, yeah. And we want to know if you would open for Bill Cosby. Now, I had just come back from college.
Wow.
Right? And in college, they teach you not to learn. I did marketing. So they teach you don't answer on the first ring. Never look desperate. All these things. So he says.
101 of marketing.
Right. So he says, I said, yeah. I said, but I got to check my schedule. And he said, pardon me? I said, I have to check my schedule, right? He says, okay, well, you do that. He said, we're talking about Bill Cosby that comes on the television, And I said, yeah, I know. Right? This is true. I couldn't even write this. So then he says, okay. I said, so give me 48 hours. He said, 48 hours? I said, yeah. Anyway, we hang up. So I say to my wife, I said, you don't can believe what happened. She says, what? I said, Bill Cosby's coming. They want me open. She said, that's good. What did you tell him? I said, I told him I'll call him in 48 hours. She says, what? Yeah, this is what they teach you in college. Never let them see you sweat. The dumbest thing ever, right?
Oh, wow.
So anyway, so 48 hours go by. I call him. And I say to him, hey, Mr. Bassett, I
cleared my schedule.
I have a clearance. Right? He said, oh, that's nice to know. He said, how much do you want for the performance? And I said, I'll tell you what, I thought about it, Mr. Bassett. I don't want any money. What I would like is an interview a one-on-one with Bill Cosby. And he says, you're asking for a lot. I said, yeah. He says, okay, let me check. Give me 48 hours. And I said, that is the longest 48 hours of my life.
Hey, what's anyway, good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yeah, so he calls back. 48 hours later, he calls back. And he says, wow, God must be on your side. Because he said yes.
Wow.
And I said, okay.
So he probably explained to him that you were a local comedian going to be opening for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I met with Bill Cosby backstage in the kitchen. In the kitchen area, they had a area set up for us. Okay. And we sat, and we talked.
Really?
We talked about a lot of things.
Wow.
And he said to me, which is what I took with me.
So he heard your show.
Let me tell you what happened.
Okay.
This is like I said, I couldn't even write this. So he says to me, I understand that you're a character actor and whatever and this, and I said, yeah, you're whatever. I said, I even do a Bill Cosby impression. He chuckled.
Okay, did you do it?
And he said, yeah. So he says, this is what you got to remember. He said, there are a lot of comedians that come out here in this field, and what they do is they want to impress, especially the character actors, and they're constantly chopping and changing the material, and the character does not come believable.
Oh.
He said, so you want to hone this. You want to be able to make this character believable, so believable that people think that you're drunk.
Got you.
Right?
Yeah.
So I took that information.
So you give him a little bit about your drunk routine?
Yeah. So he said, listen.
This is before you're on stage.
This is before I'm on stage, yeah. Okay. So he says to me, listen, he said, Bootsy, people are afraid to do old material, but if you make that material yours, you home it, and it becomes a part of you, they will enjoy it. They still will enjoy it. He says, and if you don't believe me, watch me. Now, this was in the 90s. He said to me, I'm going to do my show from 1972.
Wow.
I'm doing that show tonight. Watch. So here's what happened. So I'm thinking, to me, I said, yeah, well, I'm going to have this on my resume, open for Bill Cosby.
Right.
The Cosby, right? Mm-hmm. So right after the meeting, the manager comes over and says, listen, there's been a change in the schedule. There's a storm coming, and we have to leave soon.
And he was on a private jet?
So, yeah, he had a private jet.
Okay.
So here's what's going to happen. Bill's going to go on first.
Oh, wow. That's a hard act to follow.
And then you follow. And I was like, what? And I said to myself, I said, okay, Bill Cosby opened for me. So he went on stage.
Which would have been true.
Yeah, it's true. He went on stage, Glenn, and he did material that he did in 1972. This was in 1996.
Okay.
And these people laughed like they heard it for the first time.
Wow.
It was just amazing because he commanded the stage, right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you how crazy it was. He walked on stage. They had a grandfather chair and a mic. A boom mic.
That's it.
He sat down, right? And people were screaming.
Never got up.
Yeah, look, people were making a whole lot of and then he finally settled down. And it was quiet. And he leans over to the mic and he said,
boo.
Boo. And people roared. I was like, I got to follow this guy.
I don't know why I thought about that.
Yeah, he did.
Did he really?
Yeah, he said, boo. And these people, I was like, oh, man, I'm shaking my head. So anyway, he's doing this material, and I'm down front. I'm right down front. I'm laughing. I'm like, wait a minute, I got to go up. So he does his thank yous, and he leaves. So I walk on stage.
Straight to the airport?
Yeah, they laugh. So I walk on stage, and I say, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for him. That's Bill Cosby. He's going places. He's gonna be a superstar someday.
Everybody roared, right?
Yeah. And then I went in and did my show, and I got a standing O. I got a standing ovation that night. Yeah.
Wow.
After following Bill Cosby.
That's major.
Yeah.
And you've done international television, Def Comedy Jam.
Yep, did Def Comedy Jam.
How did that come about?
Well, when I started promoting and bringing in Def Comedy Jam artists.
Yeah.
The talent scout used to come along, and he didn't know that I did comedy, and I opened the show, and he was like, wow, I didn't know. He said, listen, I think you should come and audition for Def Comedy Jam. I was like, really?
Wow.
Yeah,
They had to fly to New York?
They flew me to New York. They put me up. And of course, I didn't use profanity. I've never used profanity on stage. So here was the camel that broke the straw that broke the camel's back. When I was backstage, we filmed at the Beacon Theater, and you had all the makeup, and they filmed everything in 3 days, right? So show after show after show after show. So on my show, when I'm backstage, and they came to me and they said, "Hey, you could use some profanity. You know, this is Def Jam." And I said, "Brother, I apologize, man, but nah, I'm good." I said, you could have, you know, the money back or whatever the case may be, but nah. And I just stuck to my guns, you know. And that was the whole, and so I went on, and I was nervous, Glenn. I was nervous, man. I was so nervous. I walked on stage. These people, this is Def Jam. They had their feet on the stage. That's how close they are. They're like right there. And it's small, you know. It's not big. It looks big.
Right.
But it's a very small theater.
Where was it? At the Beacon Theater?
At the Beacon.
I've been to the Beacon.
Yeah, it's very small.
Yeah.
You know,
I've been Beacon, and you know, a nice place, Carnegie Hall.
Yes.
I had the opportunity to be invited by Johnny Guitar Watson.
Okay.
He's passed now, but he was big. He had that song called "A Real Mother for You."
Okay.
Big hit.
Yeah.
He's a Southern guy.
Okay.
But in that New York vibe, man, it was nothing like it.
Right.
And the Beacon, I had been to see Carrie Lucas and the Whispers. They performed there.
Yeah, it was it was an eye opener for me. For me.
Is it still around? Is the Beacon still around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Cedric the Entertainer's manager came over, and he said, "Listen, you have talent beyond you. You don't even know how much talent you have, but you shouldn't be on Def Jam." That's what he said.
Okay.
And at first, I thought it was an insult.
Because of the content?
Yeah, he said, this is what he said. He said, "You are a family comic.
Oh.
And they did you an unjust putting you here."
Okay.
Right? He says, you're
because everything was pretty much X-rated kind of thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then he was like, "Man, you did good. You did good. But you're in the wrong arena."
Got you.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was an eye-opener for me. So when I came back, there's certain shows I just will not do.
Okay. And still to today.
And still to this day.
Yeah.
I just won't do it. And some people think, "Oh, he's afraid to face that crowd." No. That's not my crowd. That's like sending a reggae artist
to play or to at a
to do a funeral,
country music, or
no,
whatever.
a dancehall artist to do a funeral.
Oh, okay. Oh, right.
You know what I mean? It's like, you know, what is going to sing? Well, I don't know. You feel me? It don't make any kind of sense, right? I just wrote that.
Oh man. That would be completely
out of character, out of pocket, right?
Yeah.
So that was
that would be out of order.
Yeah, out of order. So it was all good, man.
Unless it was a reggae artist.
Unless it was a reggae
artist. Who was a dancehall
artist. Exactly. So it's got to fit.
It's got to be in the context.
And a lot of times, like with my daughter, right?
Yeah, LA.
Exactly. LA. So I try to show her and help her.
Yeah.
How she pick her shows. Yeah. So you can't do everything. You know, when you think that you can do everything, you know, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Kind of. You know, you got to be able to pick what you. So let's take, for instance, if somebody hired me to do, like, say there's a Friday night function, and let's say it was a fashion show.
Yeah.
Right? And then the following week is another fashion show, I won't do it. Because 9 times out of 10, it's the same audience.
Yeah.
Right. So I would elect to pass and let somebody else take that job. Yeah.
It's like
so you got to be smart about it.
As well, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I try never to clash with another promoter's production.
Right.
And so one way that helps to kind of clear the traffic a bit is to go to market with the advertising promotion well in advance. That's primarily to give a heads up to a promoter that
to other promoters
there's a show going on, and not that you can't do it. You can. It's free. You could do what you want.
Yeah.
But I hope out of appreciation and respect that you would
return the favor.
Yeah, pick another
Yeah.
date, because if I do something that clashes and I feel really bad about it and I pull it. I know I had one incident where we did, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, I think maybe last year.
Last year.
We did the soul to soul.
Soul to soul.
And there was another, and they had been doing it for like 4 or 5 years or 6 years.
Yeah.
And like, where the heck have I been?
Yeah, exactly.
So a representative of the promoter came around, and we had already had all of the collateral marketing material already done. I couldn't pull it all back.
Right.
But what I could do was pull the commercial off the radio.
Right.
And that's what I did.
Exactly.
And I profusely apologized.
Yeah.
Totally,
Well, I'll tell you what,
totally out of ignorance.
He stopped me.
Oh, really?
And I said, I promise you, Glenn had no idea.
Yeah.
I promise you that. I put my head on a chopping block.
Yeah,
I said, so what I would encourage you to do, go around and talk to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He sent, I didn't even know who it was, but he sent a representative.
He sent a young lady.
Yeah, a young lady
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
And I really felt bad, man. It bothered me for weeks.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Of course.
Because
you want everybody to do well.
Yeah, everybody can get a slice of the pie.
I mean, with me, Nadanja and I work very closely together.
Yeah.
With the team.
Because
with the team, with the comedy team.
you moved your original date.
Exactly.
And the thing with your original date, it was right around your birthday.
Right. So Shine,
because you usually have it around
Shine,
your birthday.
Right.
Yeah.
And Shine and I, Shine's the 14th, I'm the 15th.
Right.
So we,
So Shine's is actually on
the 14th.
The 14th of February.
Yeah, February 14th. I'm the 15th.
Okay.
So like,
because I wished him a happy birthday today, but I was thinking today was his birthday.
No. So with
it's a belated birthday to you, Shine.
Right. So even with Nadanja, we work. He'll call me up and say, "Boots, look, I can't do this function there. Can you or whatever?" And vice versa. So we're constantly passing work off for whatever reason.
That's excellent. Yeah.
So that's all.
Dungeon's really talented. I haven't seen much of Ja on stage.
Ja will be on stage on Saturday night.
Oh, he's going to be at your show?
Ja will be on stage on Saturday night. Jonathan Young will be on stage on Saturday night. This
Jonathan Young.
Yeah. So this is
Jonathan.
Jonathan. He does a lot of the. He's very funny. Very funny. He does a lot of political comedy.
Oh.
He also he has been featured for a few years now with the Just for Laughs. He's very funny.
Okay.
But he's a part of the comedy team.
Okay.
Right? My comedy team is a part of that team,
Okay.
So he never turns work down. He's like, I'll do it, Boots. Unless he's off the island, he said, Boots, you got me. So when I put in the chat, hey, anybody interested, here's the first one. Yeah, I'm in. I'm in. Yeah, he loves it. He loves it.
Okay.
And then, of course, Olivia Hamilton is going to perform.
Guest vocalist.
So, yes.
Former Bermuda Idol.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So those are that's the opening of the show, and then me.
And of course, we got our Bermuda Idol competition coming up. It's going to be great.
Exactly.
You were actually one of the preliminary audition judges.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, people, you're in for a good. It's going to be a good show. It's going to be an entertaining show. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Bermudians love to drink.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was a masterpiece as far as the lyrical content.
Yes.
Some people have an issue with it because it's seen to be celebrating libations.
Yeah, somebody called my show. I had to. There you go.
So somebody called your show and what?
Yeah, I had the police on. We were talking about collisions.
Okay.
And this guy came up. He had some good points.
And what, drunk driving and that kind of thing?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
He had some good points. And then he ended with, that's because of the song Bermudians Love to Drink.
That's because of the song?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not. When I wrote that song, it was out of pure fun. And I wrote it because Bermudians drink.
Okay.
It's not what you think. It's
condoning drinking.
Yes, I'm not condoning it. And
it's comedy.
And it's not. The song came long after the fact that we understand that Bermudians love to drink.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean. Long
that's
after
just
we
a
say-
reality.
Yeah.
I mean, and the way you frame the lyrics and everything.
Yeah, and it doesn't say get intoxicated.
No, it doesn't. Because at the end of the thing, I think that was something that I pointed out to you.
That's right.
Why don't
You produced it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I said, why don't you just say, give me a cool glass of water?
That's right.
Well, just playing off of Jim Woolridge's V's, right?
Right.
And you love the idea, and I was happy about that because I didn't want to leave the message as if it was something condoning.
Exactly.
You know, it was kind of a parody where you were making fun of the fact that traditionally Bermudians celebrate by way of consuming liquor.
Some of us don't even need a reason.
Well, some didn't need a reason, but especially during the holiday periods.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the song, I casually say, birthdays we drink.
Right.
You know.
All right, let's have a little listen to it before I go into the next song.
Yeah.